Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to quickly go through the build and strategy that I used that was really effective in getting through all of the Gauntlet of Legends challenges in Black Myth Wukong. So if you're struggling with any of these fights, hopefully this will help you out, as it pretty much worked for every single one of them with the exception of this Brothers of Mei fight. So I used basically the same strategy but changed up my build a little bit to deal with Arlong. So I'll talk about that at the end, but starting off with the main build that I used, taking a look at my equipment. I used the full golden armor set, as you can see here. Reason being, if you look at the benefits, when you have 4 pieces equipped, you get chi generation on critical hits. And then in sort of tandem with that, I'm using the Adept Fuban staff, which has a plus 25% critical hit chance. So reason being, it's really focused on chi generation and critical hits. Is because I want to spam the plantain fan and the apramana bat as much as possible. So I've got that, and then in kind of addition to that, I've got 3 cat's eye beads for more critical hit chance, which if you have 3 of these, it's 3% each, so that's 9. And then I have some beast Buddhas, which increase the damage of critical hits. So that's kind of the focus there. And then taking a look at my relics. So this is a high level character. I'm on like new game +5. I'm like level 300. So I do have all of the relics unlocked. And then I've got pretty much everything leveled up on my self-advanced tree. So kind of a little bit of disclosure there, depending on your level. You might not be able to match this fully. But a couple call outs on what's important. The mobile spin is going to be important. If you can get that upgraded, that's going to help us build up chi. Again, you'll see that through the fight. And then kind of the main spells I use, I only use Immobilize, Cloud Step, and then Life-Saving Strand. So I don't use a Pluck of Many or any of the other spells. It's just Life-Saving Strand, Cloud Step, and Immobilize. So if you can get those fully upgraded, if you're going to sort of use this as a template. And then finally, I use the Stone Monkey for my transformation. But again, I have pretty much everything upgraded there as well. And then finally, taking a look at the drinks and soaks that I used. So I use Sunset of the Nine Skies, again, for that additional chi generation. So that just helps that even further. And then for my soaks, I've got Guanyin's Willow Leaf, which is really powerful with Life-Saving Strand, as that gives you your full gourd back when you come back on that second life. Then Bee Mountain Stone for the chance of some additional gourd usages. And then finally, I use Turtle Tear, just kind of as a last resort. If I'm low on mana, I can spam my gourd. When using that at full health, it recovers mana. So if I need some like last minute mana, that comes in handy every once in a while as well. And then just quickly touching on the strategy of how I utilize this build, which again got me through pretty much all of the challenges, with the exception of that Brothers of Mei, which I'll talk about the build I used for that one. But generally speaking, this is basically what I did for all of these fights. I'm not going to go through each one of the fights in detail or anything like that, but just kind of taking a look at this first fight with Tiger Vanguard, kind of explaining what I was trying to do. So again, starting off, this is all kind of centered around using the plantain fan, as you can see here, as well as that apramana bat. So I kind of start all my fights off trying to get a plantain fan off. You can see that disables him. You can get a couple light attack combos off. After 2 light attack combos, that plantain fan will go away, and then I follow that up immediately with the apramana bat, which freezes them. Then I go into a mobile spin, which you can see builds up a ton of chi with this build that we've created. So by this point, I can already do another plantain fan. I also built up, a 4 focus attack. Then I just kind of go right back into the plantain fan, do a 2 light attack combos back to back, and then follow that up with the apramana bat, and just kind of do that sequence as much as I can throughout the fight. And you can see for a lot of these fights, pretty much that will take care of it, and you can get through them pretty easily. As you can see, I just kind of crush through Tiger Vanguard without any problem. Other bosses obviously are going to be tougher, but that was kind of generally the strategy I was trying to do and what I would open up with every single fight. So I tried to rely on just those 2 abilities as much as I could throughout these fights, since chi is essentially unlimited and you can regenerate that resource. However, a lot of fights you're not going to be able to get away with that, so there are cases where you're going to have to kind of go into your arsenal of other tools like Cloud Step here. So I also, kind of use that as needed. Again, keeping in mind that your mana is limited throughout these gauntlet challenges. But that will allow you, as you can see there, because that's fully upgraded, getting like a charged heavy attack off. And then also using your gourd, which will refill chi as well. I also did use the immobilize spell, however, I tried to limit that as much as possible, especially in some of the longer gauntlets with like 4 or 6 bosses, just because mana is so limited throughout that entire duration. But it does come in handy if you need it. You can see here, you can like freeze an enemy to get in a mobile spin if you're low on chi, to get in another plantain fan or something like that. So it was a really useful spell, however, just kind of keep in mind that your mana is going to be limited, so really try and only use that if you need it. And then finally, what I think is probably the most important spell to get through all these challenges, which is the life-saving strand spell. That's going to give you a second life once you die a first time, and potentially a third life as well if you've got everything upgraded and whatnot. But with this build, you can see I come back, and then that gives me a full, complete, brand new gourd, as well as full health, a little bit of mana and whatnot. I do have a full video that kind of goes in a deep dive of how to utilize that spell and take advantage of all its abilities. So if you want to check that out, it's on my channel. But I think that's probably the most important spell to have throughout getting all these challenges done for sure. And that's also why using the Stone Monkey transformation is really powerful too, because he also takes advantage of the life-saving strand spell, so you kind of get to use it twice, once for your Stone Monkey and then once for your actual self. So here you can see I use it and then take a death, and then he comes back for a second life using that life-saving strand. So not only that, you can see he comes back with 4 focus, so you can do a pretty good heavy charge attack right off the bat too, which puts out some nice damage. That kind of adds an added benefit of the life-saving strand spell with this transformation. And then wrapping things up, taking a look at the adjustments that I made to my build for that Brothers of Mei challenge. And this is specifically for that Arlong fight at the very end. And reason being is it seems like they've changed his behavior a little bit for this fight, where you can get 1 plantain fan off, it seems, at the beginning, but then throughout the rest of the fight, he just dispels them right away, so it's not super effective. Kind of similar with the apramana bat, you can maybe get 1 freeze on him, so the whole chi generation strategy for this specific fight isn't super effective. That being said, you can still kind of use that same idea for all of the fights prior up to Arlong to kind of get you into a good spot for this fight. But as you can see here, the main difference I make is I just swap out my weapon and armor to kind of go away from that whole chi generation build. So I use the Dark Iron Staff with the full bulking armor set. If you can see here, this is a super high defensive build, so I got my defense at 615 and my attack at 234. So if you're not familiar with the Dark Iron Staff, the way it works, the attack power by itself is 110, which isn't anything super great or anything, but it considerably increases as your defense increases. And so since the bulking has a ton of defense, you get some nice attack power on it. So kind of for this fight, again, kind of the same strategy up to Arlong, where you can still, use the plantain fan and apramana bat. Your chi generation is going to be slightly limited, but then just kind of relying on that higher defense and attack power to kind of get through the rest of the fight with Arlong. So that is the build and strategy that I used to get through all these fights. Again, it worked out pretty well for me, so if you are struggling, give this a try. Maybe it'll help you out as well. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.